This Thursday, one of the great young men, a tremendous man, I admire him, young guy who's on fire for Christ, serving at camp all through the week. He came to me Thursday afternoon, the afternoon just before that sacrament service. And I wrote immediately in my journal what he said because I didn't want to lose it. He came to me, and I'll read now so that I don't misstate what happened. This is from my journal immediately on the heels of this conversation. He came to me Thursday. Communion night was coming, and it was Thursday afternoon at Camp Adventure. This sharp young man, a counselor at camp, came to me. He'd been to camp before, as a counselor before. He knew what was coming. And he asked me that afternoon, he asked permission to talk with me for a moment. And I said, sure, what's up? He said to me, Mark, you know how you reach out your hand? You know how you put your hands on us after communion? I said, yeah. He said, you know how you always speak to us? I said, yeah. Well, he said, I'm deaf in my right ear. And so I've never heard what you said. I've never been able to hear you. So Mark, if I move my head a little, I just want you to know I'm not pulling away. It's just that I really want to hear what you say to me. That pierced me to the core. I thought, how many times have I laid my hand on his chest and pulled him close and prayed God's favor and blessing in his life, spoken words of encouragement into his ear, and he didn't hear a word. That night after communion, the kids were worshiping, the band was roaring, worship was phenomenal, and the sound was bouncing off the walls, and I went around the circle, and when I came to him, I opened up my left hand, and palm open, I laid my left hand on his chest, and I grabbed his left shoulder, and I pulled him in and pulled his left ear close, and I said, let your heart beat for Christ. You live as God's man. Keep your heart beating for the King. And I prayed for him, and I blessed him. I pulled back a little, and I looked in his eyes. And then I moved in a little closer back to that left ear, and I said, did you hear what I said? And he looked at me, and he said, yes. Yes. And I almost just broke. And I thought, how many times have we tried to say something that was important and people wanted to hear it, but the way we said it meant they just couldn't hear it. They wanted to hear it. We had truth that we wanted to say. We said it. They were listening, but they couldn't hear it just because of the way that we said it. And I thought, how many times has it happened in my life? How many times has it happened in our church? We want to say to the world, lift your eyes. Yes, you have authorities who are bosses and supervisors. Yes, you've got coaches and teachers who are authorities in your life. But lift your eyes. Lift them higher still. There is one who is King of kings and Lord of lords. Look to him. And we say it and they don't hear it. They want to hear it. But because of the way we say it, they just can't hear it.